And welcome to the FPL show, the Cheap Seats FPL. We give you all our little nuggets and tidbits for the upcoming game week. It's game week 24 this game week, and I don't want to call it a double game week because there's so many
double game
there's only it's like two games. It's like four teams participating, but it's a mini double game week. It includes City, Everton, Burnley, and who's playing Burnley over the weekend? Just checking that. It's Burnley Fulham. Yes. So I don't think a lot of people have. I think people might have City players if they went to Fed Pep rotation. But the other three, I don't think people have a lot of players in, unless you've got Calvert-Lewin as well as James or even Richarlison. But when was the last time we spoke about James? That's very interesting. So I've got Dean and I've got AB. How is game week 23 for you guys?
You can go, Dean.
It went okay. I want to say it was okay, but then there's also those like little things that happened where it could have gone either way. Like that Souček red card obviously should never have been a red card. And then you still get 0 points in FPL. So reverse the red card, give us our points back as well, please. But yeah, I think Gundogan missing that penalty as well cost managers some points there. I think the whole world captain Antonio as well, or one of the top captain picks, he did nothing. So it was a bit of a weird game week. One of those that will kind of you just have and then you forget about when you go on. So kind of touch and go, but yeah, things are starting to heat up. At least our boy Harry Kane's back, so striker problems are solved.
So I've moved into the top 10 of our league, which is awesome because I was like relegation for most of the season. So it seems like December, January, I'm on a roll, which is great. Finally, no one got a red card in my team in this game week. Thank you, Lord. Souček did. He got a red card.
I was about to say, you always back Souček, and now did you take him out? When did that happen?
No, I didn't. He's actually on my bench in this week. We'll talk about that as we move on to what we've done. It wasn't bad. I think it was a good return from that perspective. I moved up a couple of spots. Sterling was a differential for me, which was really nice. And then luckily Son came through. I captained Son and it worked. I got me a goal. And then obviously Patrick Bamford came through. Mikel Antonio is an interesting one for me, but I'll still keep him as long as West Ham's in 6th position. Viva Moyes. So it hasn't been too bad. AB, your game week, how was that?
28 points on the bench.
Who did you have on the bench?
So let's go through my bench. So I had your boy Smith Rowe, who's the least performing dude, with 2, which is why I benched him, because Arsenal against Villa. Then I had in goal Melier from Leeds, because Leeds are apparently keeping clean sheets now. Then I had Max Kilman. I think his name's Max. He was 4 million because they're playing against Leicester. 8 points.
I thought he was starting. Didn't know he was starting.
Yeah. And then obviously Harry Kane, because we were promised he was injured. But bullshit.
Yeah. So I saw you got Wilson in your team as well. The good old Wilson 1 point. So anything would have done there.
So. Okay, 28 points on the bench. That's an interesting one. So this week we wanted to start something new. We wanted to discuss the one transfer that we would make in, the transfer that we would make in, the one transfer we would take out. Then we're also going to discuss the one differential of the week, and also the final one is who you're captaining. And then we're going to go through all three. But for now, I think let's start with myself. We're going to make these cards a little bit bigger, but we do apologize if there's some edges. So the first one, these are my picks. My transfer in was Gundogan. My transfer out was Sterling. My differential was Matt Loughton because he's playing a double game week, and my captain was Bruno. So that's the card. I'm going to put it up. Cool. So I transferred in Ilkay Gundogan because I needed a cheap City midfielder in order for me to get Harry Kane back in. So got rid of my striker, Shea Adams. He was worth 5.5. I then got rid of Sterling. He was worth 11. That gave me enough cash to bring Harry Kane in, and also then bring in Gundogan in. And I brought Gundogan in because it's a double game week. And so right now, from a City perspective, I've got Diaz and Gundogan to just give me something extra at the back. I see this game week as a bonus because I don't have Fulham players. I don't have Everton players right now, and I don't have Burnley players. So that was my thing. So that was what, and obviously I know you guys don't like Sterling, so that was an easy one for me to drop. Matt Loughton is a wing back for Burnley. It's between him and Charlie Taylor for me from a Burnley perspective. They can keep clean sheets, and they've been doing that so far. I think Matt Loughton's got about 7 clean sheets this season, which is not bad. Like Burnley are at the bottom, but they're not doing badly. And obviously then I picked. I think I made Bruno captain because it's West Brom away from home. Manchester United always do well away from home. So hoping for another situation, penalties, free kicks, scoring out of open play, that type of vibe from Bruno this weekend. Because I know guys will go for City differentials in terms of captaincy, and then possibly even Dominic Calvert-Lewin as a captain. But I don't have those players, so that's where my thing comes in. Thoughts, guys?
No, that was good. I mean, yeah, geez. I think, it's having Sterling as a proper differential right now. For whatever reason, I think Sterling is outrageously talented and he's a brilliant player, but I would prefer to see him playing as a number 9 rather than what they've been doing. But I mean, I don't know what the ownership on Sterling is, but I think 2 seasons ago, Sterling would be as common as Salah and Son have been. So that's a really interesting sort of move.
But he's so expensive. That's my issue, and that's why I had to take him out, because I kind of felt for the 11. I need you to give me security in terms of playing every week that I can't get. I can get that from Gundogan, and I also need you to be in the points every week. And it looks like Gundogan's moved into the KDB role, which seemingly in FPL, if you can figure out who's playing in that KDB role for Man City, it's points galore. So that was the reason why. Let's move on to Dean's picks for the week. Dean, you've transferred in Harry Kane. You've transferred out Mikel Antonio. Your differential is Matt Target, and your captain is Gundogan. Let's leave it on a little bit more for the pictures for the peeps to be able to see.
Watch and learn.
So obviously, you'll probably, like everyone else in FPL, get Kane in. It's better with the striker drought. You had another striker. I think your other striker was Bamford.
So actually, what I've done is, I know I started the 3-5-2 movement a while ago, but what I've actually gone and done is got rid of Brewster. So I've got so now I've got Kane and I got Bamford leading the line. Then I know I've said transfer out Antonio, but I've left Antonio in my team just because we're playing Sheffield, or they playing Sheffield, not we. Sorry, did not just suddenly become a West Ham fan. But the reasoning behind that is more because I think if you haven't already played your bench boost, I think this might be the time to do it, especially if you can get some of the guys in. And that's really my plan. So in terms of the reason why I also went and picked Target as a differential is he came good against Arsenal. So obviously it's not difficult to defend against Arsenal. But they're playing Brighton, so it should be a fairly, uneventful game, and you would expect Target to get a good clean sheet there, and could probably get an assist. So I think from a differential point of view, Matt Target's looking good. And from a captain perspective, you can't look past Gundogan. If you've got him, you can't look past him. He's playing Spurs, which he can run right there. There's obviously talk of him not going off penalties and Edison going on to penalties, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So there's always that opportunity. And, whenever there's a double game week, you're stupid to not captain someone that has one, because at worst, as long as they play 90 minutes, at worst, you're going to get 8 points, which in most times you would take if it was a normal captain. So, you have to captain one of the guys that have got a double game week. I don't feel safe captaining a City defender. It's burnt me in the past. All you need is one lapsing constant. And I think Spurs might be able to score a goal, and Calvert-Lewin in that second game might be able to score a goal as well. So you don't want to take that risk. So from a City perspective, I'd look at him. If I had Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'd probably look at captaining him. I don't have him. So that's the only issue. My thing is, I've got, like I said, I can play a bench boost, and all the guys on my bench or all the guys on my full squad have a decent looking fixture. The only thing that I'm trying to do, I've got one transfer, and I'm looking at either bringing in a United defender because they play West Brom, or bringing in an Everton defender because of the double game week. So that's the only decision I still have to make. But if you ask AB, United always concede. So that's the problem. That's the conundrum.
Yeah, so I brought Luke Shaw in for Game Week 23 because I needed a United differential. Didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
So I put him on the bench, bringing in Matt Targett. I don't want to bring in Matt Targett against Arsenal because I kind of felt that I could get the double hit because I had Martinez in, and I was worried I was going to take the stays from Martinez and the non-clean sheet, but I didn't want to get the double hit with Target. So that's why. But Target's back in my side. AB, let's go to yours.
Cool.
You're transferring in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, double game week. You are transferring out. Is that Cancelo?
Yep, wow. That's Cancelo.
Transferring out Cancelo. Your differential is Edison Cavani, and your captain is Ilkay Gundogan. Rationale. Why?
Cool. So, I mean, DCL has scored, I think it's 3 goals or 4 goals in his last 3 games or something like that. So he's back. Everton are playing really good football. They scored what? It was 3 against United. And then they scored.
Is actually in ridiculous form. The goal he scored against Spurs is a rocket. Lloris got a hand to it and he couldn't stop it. So Calvert-Lewin is insane at the moment.
Yeah. And just his link-up play with Richarlison, and this is also an important play, and I feel really bad for Richarlison on FPL because he plays in a midfield role, technically being a winger, but he's a striker in FPL, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. And the way they're playing, you saw it last night, just link-up play was beautiful. So, yeah, I think DCL needs to be in there. It also solves my Wilson problem, who got injured. The problem of me getting DCL in was he's more expensive than Wilson, so I had to sell a second player, and that for me was Cancelo because I also have Edison. So I'm a little bit apprehensive of going in with 2 City defenders, if you will, for their tough run of 5 games. So I'll just stick with Edison. I know he's not going to get dropped because he's if you drop Edison, there's something wrong with you as a manager. Whereas Cancelo, we've seen, has been rested in the past. And then captain-wise, it's got to be Gundogan for now. I might change it later on to Calvert-Lewin, depending on how risky I feel. But I mean, Ilkay will still take penalties. I don't see Edison running up all that way to take a penalty. I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see it. Yeah. I'd love to see it.
But yeah, I mean, Gundogan's been.
But guys, it's in the form of I think what's his name, the Colombian goalkeeper Chilavert.
Yeah, he took penalties.
He took penalties.
Yeah.
So if it does that,
sure.
You're wilding out if you have Edison. I don't have Edison. I can't spend that much on a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna get killed if Edison takes a penalty this weekend. I will. I think.
I mean, Williams was terrible. His penalty was a shocker.
That was a shocker.
Put John Stones on penalty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm in a really bad position because I've got Edison in goals, and he's going to play. I'm starting him, but I've also got Kane, and I've got Calvert-Lewin, and I've got Son. So my players are playing against each other. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. So yeah, we'll just have to deal. But then for me, having a differential of Cavani, who I don't have, but I wish I did, was interesting because there was that article that's been retweeted a million times by those United fans on your timelines, where Cavani is he's got the highest goals to game ratio of strikers if we're considering non-penalty goals. We saw midweek he was rested, and Martial started, which means Cavani will play this week. And given the fixtures coming up, United should hopefully score a few goals. And I think Ollie's losing confidence in Martial. And also another thing that hit this afternoon was that Cavani won't be going on international duty. So if I was Ollie, I would be pushing Cavani to start every single game until internationals because he's banned, and then giving him international break to rest. Because at 34, at 34, you're
playing the numbers.
That fits exactly. Yeah. So look, okay. I mean, yeah, he is a lethal goal scorer. If he was 8 years younger, he would be in everyone's team almost. But yeah, so let's see how that works out.
Okay, awesome. Anything else that people should be looking out for this weekend? Are there any Fulham players that you can say, okay, no, double game week, maybe you might eat something out with Fulham?
The only person would be Lookman. Yeah, you could. He's the only person in that Fulham side.
With Ademola Lookman, that both
he's the only guy in that side. Look, I saw Lookman a while ago when he was an Everton youngster, and he came on against Spurs, and he just looked like he had a lot of energy. He then went to Leipzig, or I don't know if he went to Leipzig or Salzburg, one of those.
He went to Salzburg.
There you go. And then he was there, and now, I mean, to go to Fulham, it almost feels like a bit of a step down. So I think my thing with him is he can play at a higher level, and I think this was his opportunity to try and put himself in the shop window and try and show him. But I mean, that Fulham side is horrendous, but he has come good. I mean, that goal he scored against United was pretty good. He can run around, he can get a goal in, and he's cheap, and no one ever thinks of Fulham. So that's why, if you are struggling for cash on FPL and now Fulham's got a double game week, there's no other reason you should never look at a Fulham player other than them having a double game week and no one else having one. You have to look at them.
And then from a Burnley perspective, I'd say look at Barnes. He's the only fit striker they have. I think Chris Wood hasn't been playing with the last 2 games, but they're on the up and up, and they've got 2 games this weekend. They've got Crystal Palace and also Fulham. So from that perspective, Jay Rodriguez comes into the reckoning, and so does Barnes, and so does Westwood as well, if you're looking for some differentials. And then I think
they were shocking against Bournemouth. I watched that Bournemouth-Burnley game. Don't ask me why.
I didn't even recognize the player on the field. The only player I recognized was Sam Billing, and I was like, oh, he played for Huddersfield.
I recognized Dash. That's the only person on that whole field I recognized.
Yeah, and I was like expecting to see Jack Wilshere play. That's why I watched that game, and then I was just disappointed that Jack wasn't playing because I still miss Jack. Yeah. I love Jack. Any final words, AB and Dean?
No, it's going to be a really tough game week because most people will have City, Spurs, Everton players because they've been doing well. So yeah, don't be disappointed. So hopefully, I mean, if you get in the 60s this game week, you're doing really well. That's always a good indicator of anywhere above 5 points a player. So that the 55, 60 mark, you're doing well. So yeah, don't be too hard on yourselves.
Okay.
It's a bit deep. A bit deep for me.
Yeah. My side, if you've got that bench boost, I would say look at playing it. And if you've got the guys with decent fixtures, and I think that's everyone's conundrum at the moment. No one knows who to bench. It's hard to bench someone. So I would say now
28 points on the bench.
Don't do that. So if you've got it, play it, because I think, I mean, there's a lot of sort of fixture postponements and delays and things that are coming up. But I think if you've got City guys, try and get your City guys. Everton are in a good run of form. And Burnley, Fulham give you some differential. So in terms of guys that have got double game weeks, it might be a good time to play it. So that's my little piece of advice, which I think I'm going to take. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. From my end, I just want to say, everyone, enjoy this game week coming up. It is a double game week. Enjoy the football on offer. Remember, yes, we're playing FPL, but we also want to watch some good football. Have a great time. We'll see you next week on the other side of this for another edition of the Cheap Seats, normal and FPL edition all in one. But do look out for our videos on YouTube, like and subscribe, and follow us on these various platforms, and also follow us on Twitter and on Twitter and interact with us and tell us if we're talking crap or not. But from myself, Mpo, Dean, and AB, enjoy the weekend and lesale kakahiso.